Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to week one in CE 155, Facility Layout and Design. Chef Suzanne and I welcome you to this exciting class. It's going to be a very exciting 6-week journey. Regardless of where you anticipate going in this industry, this class will have a lot of applicable issues that you will apply to your everyday job once you get into industry. Sometimes we've heard some comments saying, well, we don't plan on opening up a restaurant, or I don't plan on this. Well, guess what? The stuff that you learn in this course, you will be using, whether you end up just as a sous chef, a line cook, an executive chef, a restaurant mogul. All of the stuff that you learn here will be applicable, because at some point in time, someone's going to come to you and say, hey, how should I lay this out? How should I market this? How should I do that? And this class will give you a lot of the information to help you through that. A lot of you already know who I am. My name is Chef Warren Weeks, and I've had the pleasure of working with a number of you in previous classes. And I am joined by probably the best evaluator that is here at Escoffier, and that is Chef Suzanne Lasagna. A little bit about myself first. I've spent a lot of years in the industry, most of my career as a director of food and beverage or an executive chef. I've owned a bunch of restaurants. I've opened up a lot of restaurants. And I am here in lovely Tucson, Arizona, with my beautiful wife, who's a chef, and some small children that are running around. And occasionally you might hear them in the background, but we do everything we can to keep them quiet. And I want to take a moment to introduce Chef Suzanne. Chef Suzanne is an evaluator that I have a lot of respect for, primarily because she really holds people to the standard at which we are trying to teach, which really pays dividends to all of you in the long run. And she is just an incredible person to work with. Chef Suzanne, you want to share a little bit about yourself with everyone?
I will. I know a lot, but I think there are still a few I don't know. So nice to see everyone. I am Suzanne Lasagna. Yes, that is my real name. I am located in really rainy and cold Texarkana, Texas. I also have a lovely husband, and I have 2 older children. So if you hear mine making noise, it's probably a whiny teenager. So please ignore that. I also have lots of experience in the industry, but unlike Chef Warren, I never have opened a restaurant. But I've worked in I've done everything from executive chef to food and beverage director. I've done lots of education. I've worked in everything from fast food to your chain restaurants, and I have utilized most of the information from this class repeatedly without ever having opened my own business. So there is so much good information here that you will all need. So we are here to share as much information and help you as much as we can.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that nice introduction, and welcome everybody once again. Chef Suzanne and I have a very open door policy, and we anticipate speaking with the majority of you throughout the next 6 weeks. It's really up to you. Get a hold of us with questions, take advantage of it. We're going to go over for the next few minutes some simple instructions that are really going to help you excel here in this class. This is not a traditional class. If you have a tendency to procrastinate or kind of put things off until the last minute, it might be a little bit challenging for you. Let's take a look at what's going on the screen here with some simple instructions. So first of all, like I mentioned, welcome to CE 155, Facility Layout and Design. Please do not fall behind in this class. Each week in this class builds into the next week. So if you miss week 1 and decide to jump into week 2, we're going to have you go back and complete week 1 first. And that will create a lot of challenges for some of you that have a tendency to miss things. So definitely stay on the ball in this class. Week 1 builds into week 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, et cetera, et cetera. We expect all assignments to be turned in no later than Sunday of each week. That is for your benefit, not for ours. Nobody really wants to be grading on a Sunday, and that's not really what we choose to be doing. However, when you get those grades in, when you get your assignments in on a Sunday, that gives us the opportunity, or Chef Suzanne the opportunity, to evaluate it, get back to you, and you can make any adjustments to keep your grade as high as possible. So it benefits you in the long run. And most importantly, If you choose to procrastinate, now is a good time that you might want to consider working on that habit. Because in industry, we proact, we do not react. So if you like to wait till Tuesday night at 11:50 to begin your assignments, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you in this course. However, if you follow these simple instructions that we're sharing with you now, it's going to be a walk in the park. And then your assignments will be evaluated by Chef Suzanne. If you have any questions regarding your evaluation, please contact Chef Suzanne. She's a very open-minded person. She'll be glad to discuss and share any information that you don't understand. So certainly don't be afraid to shoot her a message. She'll get right back to you and take good care of you. Your assignments in this class will be evaluated based on the rubric and the information that we share here in the weekly live session. So your attendance and your attendance at the live session is essential to succeed in this class. We understand that you can't always get there. However, make sure that you watch the live session archive in the event that you cannot get here. And then we are here to help you succeed. So if you have any questions regarding your assignment, make sure you pick up the phone and call. However, the first thing that we're going to ask you is, did you watch the live session and have you read the research materials first? Because those are the things that provide the instructions. There are certain scenarios and there are certain times when you will have some questions. Pick up the phone, shoot me a message, shoot me a text. I'll get right back to you and we'll work through. We'll help you out. We'll do everything we can. But that's real important to make sure that you take advantage of the tools first. And then, you know, our kind of philosophy here is that this is your future. And we feel very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to be a part of it. And we expect professionalism in everything that you do. And that's a critical part of being a successful chef. There were years ago when chefs used to be, I don't know if anybody remembers, a long time ago when the image of a chef was that guy back in the kitchen with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth flipping pancakes. Does anybody remember that? You know, and that's, yeah, that's not who we are. We are professionals, and we must maintain that in the way we communicate, our personal appearance, you know, our physical communication and everything else needs to be maintained in such a manner. So that's very, very important. That's something that we certainly take a look at. And then in this class, it's time management is a big issue. And I know that a lot of people have a tendency to struggle with that when they first get back into school, or they first start approaching this career. But one of the most important attributes of any chef is time management. And for example, when we walk into the kitchen, I have a routine that I go through on a daily basis. When I walk into the kitchen, first thing I do is I walk the facility. Then I take a look inside the walk-in coolers. And then I sit down with a cup of coffee and I take a look at what's going on that day, who's working. And then, just like Chef Suzanne mentioned the other night, I get myself a piece of paper and I write out a list of everything that needs to be accomplished. There's no way a chef can manage a restaurant without time management. We have cooks running all over the place. We have customers coming in and out. The phone is ringing. Orders are coming in the back door. We have a catering. We have a banquet. So-and-so needs help. We have to manage our time very, very effectively. So it's a good habit to really get into now. Sit down each Wednesday when the class opens. Take a look at what needs to be done that week, right? Make yourself a list. And then once you have that list, decide what, when, and how it's going to be done. Hey, I know I have to do a facility layout tool this week, so maybe I'll work on that on Thursday. Knowledge check, I can do that Friday. Discussion forum, et cetera, et cetera. You will be successful. Do you have anything to add to that, Chef Suzanne?
I think I'm just going to kind of reiterate what Chef has already said. This class is very different from most of the other classes. You really do indeed have to stay on top of it, and if you miss one assignment, it's next to impossible to move forward. You actually have to work on week 1 to work on week 2. Week 2 builds into week 3, and it really is, you know, it's like it's all stacked up, and without one piece, it doesn't fit quite right. So this is more important than in most other classes to really stay on top of things. And it is very different in that respect.
Yeah. So in other words, you're kind of moving up into the realm of professionalism here. You know, a lot of us can cook, slice, dice, and everything else, but an executive chef or a chef has a lot of other issues on his plate. Time management is one of those things that's going to help you. And then make sure that you're posting attendance at least every 4 days in this class. If you're unable to do that, just reach out and let us know what's going on so we can help you out and take care of you. And then classroom participation policy. This is something new for us here at Escoffier that they just recently instituted. We need to make sure that we're all maintaining ourselves in a professional fashion, especially during these live sessions. There have been issues, not necessarily with any of the students that I see here, but in other classes. In hindsight, they kind of make you smile, but they are fairly unprofessional. In the future, we should be wearing our chef jackets during the live sessions. We're all chefs, and we need to dress appropriately. And then make sure that you have a neutral background. Everybody's background looks great tonight, but we have had issues where there have been certain things in the background that can deflect somebody's thinking during the live session. We want everybody to be focused, and then make sure that we don't have anybody that's walking around in the background. We have had some instances where people aren't clothed as well as they should have been, et cetera, in the background, and it's a big distractor, and it's pretty unprofessional. And then it's okay if you need to take a sip of water or something during a live session. I do that quite a bit, but certainly don't be smoking and vaping and having dinner during live session. And you should always be mindful of the fact that whatever you put into this live session is whatever you're going to get out. It's just like anything else in life. Make sure that you're well aware and you can stay awake and you can stay focused for the entire hour. It's very, very important. Try not to be multitasking and working on a bunch of other things during the live session. We've seen people trying to drive, cook, take care of children, et cetera, et cetera. The live session, just micro focus and get through it. It's really going to help you succeed in the future. So some of that information. We've had a little bit of change in our courses recently, and I think a lot of you were in CE 185 with me. Is that correct? Many of you. That's awesome. Welcome back. In previous versions of CE 185, they did menu development, and they also did conceptual development, which are applicable to this class. However, with the new version, they are not doing that. So we're going to have to talk about getting some quick menus put together here to help everybody out through this course, because you will need a concept and you will need a menu. And it's very, very important. The conceptual development is fairly simple. A lot of you have ideas in the back of your head about what and how you want to do it. CE 185, we talked a lot about how to do it, but we didn't actually do it. And my friend Don down there is mentioned the German deli thing, which I love because I have a lot of respect for that food. So he kind of has an idea in his head about that concept. For the majority of your assignments in CE 155, you are going to have to provide a brief 1 to 2 sentence summary of your concept. It can be the same brief 1 to 2 sentence summary for each assignment. You don't have to change it up each assignment. It's not necessary. So you can come up with one concept statement and just use that throughout your course. Does anybody have questions about that?
I have something to jump in with real quick on that. When it comes to your concept, there's a reason that we have you come up with a 1 to 2 sentence concept, especially for this course. It kind of holds everything together. So if you don't really have a vision in your mind of what you're going to do, and this does not, there's no money invested. So, this isn't what you have to do forever, So once you leave here and you go, well, that was a horrible idea. That's okay. You just need something for this course to tie it all together. So if you don't really have a vision in your mind, it's going to be really hard to do the kitchen layout and the dining room layout when you don't know what it is your concept is going to be based on. So that's kind of why we have to start with that and kind of build from there. So it kind of keeps you focused, because sometimes it's easy when there's so much coming at you in this class to just kind of get sidetracked. But 1 to 2 sentence summary. So, mine is was that what was on the slide, Joe?
Yes.
I always say that, if I had to open a business, it would be an Italian restaurant, that fine dining Italian restaurant. I think I told Joe this, fine dining Italian restaurant, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner only, and seats 100 people.
Yes.
That's my concept in 2 sentences. That's it. And so if I'm in this course, then when it's time to design my kitchen, which we'll be doing here in a couple weeks, I'll have that in the back of my mind. And when I'm working on the, front of house, I'll have that in my mind, where it basically helps you stay focused. So it doesn't have to be this big, grandiose 50-page thing, literally 1 to 2 sentences. And so that's what, Chef's talking about with that.
And it's, what is super cool in this class, because most of you have developed something in your mind about what you want to do. Is that correct? Do a lot of you have some understanding of what you want to do? And Mary Lou's like, kind of. But check this out. During the next 6 weeks, you're going to refine that, and then you're going to bring it to fruition on paper. And what's going on inside your head right now is going to be completely different by the time it actually comes out. Having done a bunch of restaurants previously in my career, I've always conceptualized and had these wonderful ideas in my head about what they're going to be. But once they come to fruition, it's a completely different animal. We're gonna take you down that road. Let's answer Mandy's question here. Mandy, what's going on?
Just real quick, talking about the concept, I'm toying with the idea of both a food truck and a home base. Something, just a small professional kitchen and no dining or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But that's just something I'm playing with as well. Should I focus on the food truck aspect of it and maybe pull that in later, or just for the purposes of the class?
If you choose, I would highly recommend sticking with the food truck for this course, because the home-based business, and I know a lot of people like home-based businesses. There's a lot of very strict laws in the United States that regulate that. There's a law that goes through all 50 states called the Cottage Law, which will allow you to legally produce baked goods in your house. However, that is the extent of what you can legally produce in your house. So as far as doing any type of hot foods, catering, prep work for a food truck, anything like that, it's eventually not going to come to a good reality for you, because they don't allow it, and that does catch up with people eventually. So,
well, I have a building on my property.
Okay.
And what I was, because I don't want to park in one place all the time.
Right.
I wanted to, use it kind of like storage or excess, or if I wanted to cater. But I tell you what, I'll just do that.
Okay, you do that. And if you have any questions, just shoot us a message.
Yeah, I can see it's still percolating up here. So how the best way to do it. So yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Samantha, what's going on, Samantha?
So to touch a little bit about the cottage laws, I'm in the process of getting all of my food permits and stuff done for my barbecue trailer. And I was asking them about the cottage laws because I wanted to know what I could make at home that I could sell for the days that I'm not open on my trailer. And apparently New Mexico does not have any cottage laws unless if you live in Albuquerque. So they don't allow anything.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I got to look farther into it, but that was our environmental inspectors, or our inspectors that I was talking to, and she had absolutely no clue what even a cottage law was.
Wow.
Most states are really tough on allowing you to cook anything out of your home. The rules and the laws are very, very, very tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll touch on this real briefly here. A lot of people wonder why we don't get heavily into these laws, and the reason that we don't here at Escoffier or any other culinary school for that matter is all 50 states have all 50 different laws. And traditionally in the United States, the health codes and everything else are created and enforced by local governing agencies such as the county. So what we do here in Pima County, Arizona might be completely different than what they do in Clark County or another county somewhere else in the United States. So there really is no consistency from New Mexico to New York to Louisiana. It's all radically different across all 50 states. So let's see, let's get another question here real quick. Ashley, what's going on?
Okay, so you're saying that we have to, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you're saying that we have to have some kind of heading, you're saying, right? So let's say I want to do traveling chef, catering to your nutritional needs.
Okay.
So that would be one, or what do you mean?
Okay, so if you're going to do something like that, it sounds like you plan on doing a catering operation or a personal chef type
Personal chef mostly, yeah.
which is going to be really difficult to conform into this class based on the setup. So you're going to want to expand that a little bit and perhaps think about doing a catering operation or even doing a small style restaurant for this class purposes that offers those services as an amenity to the restaurant. It'll be much easier for you.
So like having a small, maybe a corner store restaurant,
Sure.
but open Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And doing traveling chef. So I see what you're saying, like maybe like a 25 seating or 50 seating head restaurant.
Correct.
With, able to go out to different places. Okay.
Exactly. And that'll allow
Just have
you.
that piggybacking off of it, the traveling chef portion or the personal chef piggybacking off the restaurant.
Correct. And so basically you're going to have your restaurant, and then the personal chef services or the catering services would be a service offered by the restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
Sound good? All right. Amy, what's going on? Amy Riley.
Hey, Chef. Good
Hey.
evening. I actually also looked up the cottage laws where I'm at in Alabama because I wanted to do catering
Mhm.
at home. And with the catering, it's certain foods that you can make, and also it's certain you can only make a certain amount of money doing it. Past a certain amount of money, it is not considered legally to be made in the house.
Yeah.
It's not just a food area concept or whatever you want to call it of what kinds of foods you can make, but it also requires a amount of money being made, and too much of it would be considered breaking the law out of your house.
Yeah. It's really interesting. A lot of those cottage laws that are written around the country too are very old. They're not modern, and they're not applicable, because I have been in some homes that are probably nicer than some of the kitchens that I've worked in and a little bit more up to code. So I understand what you're saying, and that's very, very true. Thanks for that comment, Amy. I appreciate that. Gertrude, what's going on? Gertrude.
Okay, I think I'm changing my mind from when I started.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because when we started, I had been thinking of having an event place whereby would cater for the word like events, and all the food cooked there and everything there. But now I'm kind of like changing my mind. Because now being in the industry now, like where I work is like fine dining. With it's like the modern fine dining. So a senior living place is like kind of like the rich people's place where they live and all this. So now I don't really know whether I'm really gonna get onto my concept or I have to change, because
this is what I recommend, and this is going to happen. That's a great point, Gertrude. Thanks for bringing that up. And this is going to happen to quite a few of you in this course. You need to come up with a solid concept right now. That solid concept that you come up with today will be completely different by week 6. That's the way this whole process works. Because what's going to happen is Chef Suzanne just discussed that she wanted to do an Italian restaurant, and it's going to seat 100 people, and it's only going to be open for lunch and dinner. But over the next 6 weeks, all of you guys are going to learn a lot of information about what goes into the development of those facilities, and that's going to morph and change the way you are thinking about your concept. And we expect to see that as things go along. And that's a very, very natural form of development. So what is existing in your head today, I guarantee you, Chef Suzanne and I will guarantee you that it is not going to it's not going to be there 6 weeks from now, because it's going to change based on all the information that you get. So allow yourself to change, be open, and you know, your concept is going to morph itself over time.
Yes. My other problem that I have is I'm working as a cook right now where I work, and so I was talking to one of my sous chefs that he asked me about the graduation, and I'm like, okay, in the next 3 months. So my question is, after graduation, are you automatically become a chef after graduation? And if they don't have a job for you as a chef, what is it gonna be like?
That we can talk about. If you want to shoot me a message about that,
okay.
And we can talk about that on the side. Yeah, thanks, Gertrude. I appreciate it.
Chef, real quick. There is in case anybody hasn't seen it, there is actually about 6 or 7 examples in this week's week 1 assignment of concept summary examples. It literally says concept summary examples. So there are some examples there for bakery, breakfast, food truck, fine dining. There are several different examples that you all can kind of use to point you in the right direction of a concept.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. All right, let's see. Gabriel, what's going on, Gabriel?
Hey, quick question.
Sure.
What's the best way to go? Do you buy your food equipment, like what you're going to use to cook your food, like your ovens and whatnot? Do you buy that first, or do you build your menu first and then buy the equipment?
We're gonna get heavily into that, and just to give you that in a nutshell, you've got to develop your concept, you've got to develop your menu first, and then you'll develop your facility, and then you'll know what kind of equipment you need. And we're also going to talk about where to get it, how to get it, and what you should get as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Eric, what's up?
Good evening, Chef.
Good evening. How are you?
Hey, I had you on my last class, and
awesome.
I didn't do so well in my final assignment. But I wanted to ask you a question, because I have my own catering company outside of working as the executive chef for the company that I work for. I cook for 37 different restaurants. Well, out of a commissary kitchen. I'm only getting my catering business up now. It's going actually really good. I have several clients, but I'm working out of my house. So am I violating any kind of laws in New Jersey that you know of, or anything like that? Because I haven't gotten hemmed up by, anybody.
Not yet. I don't know. I don't know what the specific laws are in your particular area. However, I could probably, if I had to make an educated guess, you might be swimming in some waters that you don't want to swim in. There is a thing that in industry, and a lot of us have corporations, LLCs or S Corps or et cetera. Those are what we call protective shields that protects us if something should happen to one of our clients or should happen to the business itself. They cannot go after you. And currently, it sounds as though you're pretty wide open and exposed should something happen.
Well, I do have an LLC.
Okay, that's good. It's very important that you are operating in a licensed facility, and that's pretty much standard across the United States for any type of hot food preparation. So I'll be glad to talk to you about that here in a little bit.
My job actually lets me use their kitchen after hours. So, I mean, I'm working under my own, but I'm working in an actual clean kitchen facility that we clean every day. And I have a team of guys that come in. Well, men and women that work with me, you know, after hours after work. So I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah, shoot me a message. Let's talk about it, and I can help you out.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chef.
All right, ladies and gents, just to give you a little bit of heads up, let's get on with this show. We have a lot of information that we have to get covered through the remainder of the live session. This presentation that we're taking a look at now that's popping up over there, we will post onto our class page. So if there's something you don't quite understand or something you missed, it's going to be up there after this live session. You'll be able to refer back to it. One last question before we move back onto our slides. Alyssa, what's going on?
Hi, Chef. I had two questions. One was, because you guys, I'm in the same state as you, Arizona, but I'm in Tempe.
Uh-huh.
So when we do the live sessions at 5, it's 4 over here, and I'm not out of work until 6 o'clock. Is that okay if I'm still at work?
That's fine. That's fine. We're not. We want the number one thing that we're concerned about is that you get all of this information and you understand it. We're primarily concerned with making sure that you understand and get all the information. If you're not properly dressed or you're in an odd location or whatever, just keep your screen blacked out and you'll be fine.
Okay. And then the second question I had is, my concept is going to be a home style, like Southern cooking food truck.
Uh-huh.
But I've been struggling with the deal because I have quite a few friends who do own their own food trucks and have told me numerous times that I should look into renting a commercial kitchen so I could do my meal prep there, stock my truck when I need to. That way, when I run out of product, it's not close shop and be done for the day. Right. I have somewhere where I can go and get more product and go back out there and start working.
Correct.
Should I do that in my first year, or should I wait until I'm further established in my restaurant?
Not knowing what the laws are in Maricopa County, which is in Tempe, Arizona, but I'm sure you're going to have to hang your license at a licensed facility, and a food truck is not a licensed food preparation facility. So you will have to hang your license somewhere. We'll talk about this a little bit later on in the course. There's a lot of different places you could hang your license other than just renting a full-blown kitchen for 24/7. So we're going to give you lots of advice about that. I think that's a fantastic question.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gents, there's something else you need. We just talked about the concept that is going to be required. Once again, don't get stuck on it. Just develop something that you have in your head already. It's going to change over the next 6 weeks. Don't worry about it. And then you're also going to need to have a menu for this class as well. Chef Suzanne and I are not looking for a menu that is going to be on the cover of Gourmet Magazine. We do not try to rock our socks off. It's only going to make things more complicated for you in the long run. So keep it simple, Sam. Your menu must be something simple. It needs to reflect your concept. So if you are doing a Southern style cafe, do not put pan-seared foie gras with a gastrique and frisée. It doesn't jive, right? If you are doing an Italian restaurant, of course you could do chicken marsala or the chicken parmesan, whatever. That would jive. That would make sense. In your menu, it just needs to be a simple Google Doc, and then you will have 5 items on that menu. Those 5 items must come from at least one each item from 3 of the following categories. One would be pantry garde-manger. So that would include salad, appetizer, dessert, sandwiches. We would like to see another item from a sauté station, pan-seared chicken breast, some type of seared whatever fish, some type of braising technique. That would be good. And then something from your grill station, such as a grilled ribeye or whatever the case may be. So you will create that menu in coordination with your concept, and then you will be required to provide a link to that menu for your assignments. Does everybody understand that?
Can I jump in again?
Sure. Real quick, please.
I know that the wheels are turning. I can see them in these little squares of the people I can see. So let me just stop you real quick right there. Stop those wheels. It's not about the menu. For this particular class, the menu is merely a very vague vessel to get you to the next step. It's just a tool. So you don't have to, rack your brains to come up with these 5 menu items. It should just be, once you come up with your 2 sentences about your concept, where you're going to have a fine dining, Italian establishment open, Monday through Friday or whatever, you're just going to come up with 5 basic items that would be on that menu, because you have to have somewhere to start for the next part, which is to design your dining room or your front of house or your back of house. So you've got to start somewhere. So don't get all hung up on the fact like, I have to write a menu. No. So just kind of reel it in, guys. Reel it in. Right. I see the wheels. I see the wheels. I see y'all are smiling. I see the wheels.
You are so on the money on that. Southern restaurant, sit down, right? Biscuits and gravy, chicken fried steak. Simple. Keep it simple. Chopped salad. We don't need anything fancy. Your menu is just a tool that you will be utilizing in various exercises to help you understand facility layout design. Let's answer some questions real quick about that. Alyssa, I think we got your question, didn't we? Or did you have another question? Eric, what about you? What's going on, Eric?
Erica.
Oh, Erica. I'm sorry. I can't read.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Erica.
Hey, Chef. So my question was, with this, is this something that we are making up, or we find it on the web, or I'm a little confused.
Oh, as far as the menu?
Yes.
Don't complicate it. What's your concept, Erica? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about doing a vegan restaurant or vegan something.
Tell me 5 dishes they serve. Tabbouleh, baba ganoush, right?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Like pretty much like they might do like tofu and salad, or they could do it's so much in vegan food. It's just like a lot of vegetables. Tofu.
Yep. Just no need to do research. No need to be chasing rabbits. Just keep it real simple. Just write down 5 vegan dishes.
5 vegan dishes.
That's it.
But you said something about you needed like grill something with like meat or something. Is that just in general?
That's just in general. We'd like to see a grilled item, and there's a lot of grilled vegan items, from grilled tofu to grilled vegetables to. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you to spread your menu out across the kitchen a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chef.
You're welcome. Paul, what's up?
These 5 dishes, how do we get them posted to the assignment page? How does that happen?
Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to do a Google Doc for your menu. So just open up a Google document, put your 5 menu items on there, and then here in just a moment, you're going to learn where to put that link.
Okay.
So it's real simple in a Google Doc. You hit the share, then you hit create link, and then copy that link, and you'll just pop it right into your spreadsheet, and then Chef Suzanne will have access to it at that point.
Okay, because I opened up the assignment page as far as the layout. Is that the same spot?
I'll show you here specifically. I'm going to pull it up here in just a moment so you can take a good look at it. And if you still have questions, make sure you let us know so we can help you, Paul. Okay? And then Demara Liz, what's going on?
I used the menu I had already made up for my other class on this class. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, because I already turned in my assignment for this week, and that's what I did. I used my other menu, and I submitted the menu in.
You're golden. You're good.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yep. All right, Amy, what's up?
So my question is, I want to do like a sweets type bakery type something, and when I have 5 menu items. Do I have to specify which one is grilled, which one is sauteed,
No.
which one? Just put the 5 menu items.
You're going to see how you're going to break that out here in just a moment.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're going to pop that up. And we understand this is kind of a little catch-up thing with everybody. And if anybody has any questions following this live session, and they're still a little bit unclear on this whole issue, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text message. Our numbers are there on the right-hand side of the class page, and we'll be there to help you out. So just in hindsight, you need to develop your concept, quick 1 to 2 sentence summary that you will be supplying in most of your assignments for the next 6 weeks. And then you also need to have a simple 5-item menu that comes from 3 different areas of the kitchen: pantry, saute, grill. So does anybody else have questions about that? Chef Suzanne, do I need to add anything to that? Is that pretty clear?
I don't think so. I think once you show, you're put the assignment up, right? The assignment page.
Yes.
Yeah, I think where there may be a little bit of issue is anyone who has probably a bakery may have questions about the equipment, whether they've got to do grill and that sort of thing. But I think for most concepts, you need to be utilizing the entire kitchen. I think the only exception is going to be someone who's got a bakery, and typically there are not a whole lot of bakery sweet places in the culinary side. Most of those folks are in pastry, but there are a few of you. So if you've got questions about that, double check with Chef and I about that.
Yeah, we're not going to ask you to grill your creme caramel. I mean, that's not what this is about. So, Mary Lou, what's going on?
So really quick, I think I got the whole assignment down on the discussion questions. I know you haven't touched on that. I was reading it just before we came live. So pretty much just go and look around and places that we just want to pick out ideas for layout concepts, if I understood the discussion correctly, right?
That's correct. We're going to touch on that here in just a moment. Right. Part of the mentality in this course is to help everybody gain as much exposure. One of the successful ways that we create concepts and develop them within this industry is a lot of exposure to a lot of different concepts and looking at a lot of different things, and that helps stimulate our ideas. And that's part of what we're working on. Does that answer your question? We'll get in detail here in just a moment. All right, ladies and gents, for this course, the majority of the course, not all, but the majority, you will be working, this is your class page, week 1. You will be working with the facility layout tool. So you will click on this right here, and you will make a copy of that facility layout tool. It's right at the top of the class page under week 1. And once you copy that, then we're golden and we'll get going from there. And each week we're going to explain to you what to do within that facility layout tool. So once you use it, make sure you save it, because we're going to be getting back to it time and time again. Any questions about that? No? All right, ladies and gents, let's get on to the meat and potatoes of the class. I think we've given you enough instruction and heads up here. And I want to show everybody the week 1 class page quickly before we move on. I'm going to go a little bit fast. We're a little bit behind, but I'll talk pretty quick. And if anybody has any questions, don't be afraid to interrupt and ask. We're glad to answer them. This is our week 1 assignment page. And these research materials have questions in them, and they need to be answered. So make sure you're doing that on a weekly basis. That goes towards your attendance as well. We mentioned earlier this evening that we'd like to see you post attendance at least every 3 to 4 days. That's another way that you can do it. Research materials facility layout tool, we talked about that, and we're going to get into that here in just a few more moments. And then the discussion forum this week that Mary Lou was just asking about. You're going to post or copy and paste some designs into the actual discussion forum that you've gotten off the internet or from other sources as well. We're trying to take a look inside your head. Chef Suzanne loves this part because you can actually really see what people are thinking, and I think it's incredible, and it's a part of when your ideas are going to begin to change. Your initial post is due no later than Saturday by 11:59 p.m., and that is worth 6 points. You are required to respond to at least 2 other students' posts no later than Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Each response is worth 2 points for a total of 10 points for your discussion forum. Discussion forums are worth about 20% of your total grade, so do not blow them off. They're very, very important in this class. So take them very seriously, and we're very excited to see the ideas that you guys come up with and the things that you find. There is an example here. We'll get back to that a little bit later. I think most weeks in this course we'll now have an example down at the bottom of the class page about what your facility layout tool should look like before you submit it on Sunday to Chef Suzanne. And then we also have our weekly assignment, and we're going to get into that here in just a few moments as well. Does anybody have any questions about the class page? Anybody have any questions yet in general? No? Let's talk about some kitchen equipment. This is one of my most favorite parts. I know Gabriel was asking about this just a few moments ago. So the way the whole process works for facility layout and design, first of all, you have to conceptualize. You have to have a very good understanding of what your concept is all about. Right? That's all got to be put down on paper. Step 2 is you have to have your menu, because you don't know what equipment you can purchase until you know what items you need to cook. Right? Developing a restaurant is extremely expensive in the United States. You know, the average kitchen is right around $200,000 to put together. That doesn't include hood systems and some of the other essential elements. So it's a major investment. I don't know how many of you out there have that kind of cash laying around, but when we do this, we put everything in the kitchen in very specific areas for very specific reasons. Let's take a look at Thomas Keller's restaurant here. Thomas Keller is one of my most favorite chefs in the world. He's extremely talented, based out of Younkerville, California, with the French Laundry, Bouchon. This is his restaurant, the French Laundry, in California. It's had 3 Michelin stars for a number of years now. This is a $10 million kitchen that he just built to facilitate a dining room of about 65 people. Right? That's insane. And I would dream of working in a kitchen like this, but unfortunately the majority of us won't. We're going to take a look at what we will. But some of the elements that are in this kitchen are absolutely fantastic. You'll notice there's very little equipment that actually touches the floor. And the majority of the stuff is on casters that can be wheeled around and moved for cleaning purposes. And then even the cabinets don't even touch the floor either. All these drawers that run along the side, that's what we call low boys. That allows us to store items in refrigeration underneath the countertops. This is a cooking island that we use quite a bit in various setups, but it is an absolutely gorgeous kitchen, and I'm jealous and I'm envious, and I wish I could have it, but I can't.
Hey, Chef.
Yes.
Hey, for that restaurant, what's the average price per plate?
It's going to be varying. I had some friends that ate there a month or so ago, and I have one friend that loves to. He's that guy that says, "I'll take the check. I'll take the check." And there were 6 of them, and the bill came to $3,500. So it's a pretty expensive place. They really don't do a la carte service. The majority of it is tasting menus, and it's worth every penny from everything I've heard. I've never had the opportunity to eat there, but it's pricey. Yeah.
Nice. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yes.
For that kitchen.
Absolutely. And then moving on to something that's going to be a little bit more closer to reality for most of us. And these are some pretty nice kitchens actually that we have up here on the screen right now. Some of the elements that you're going to be working with over the next couple of weeks. This is a prep area in a kitchen. This unit right up here that runs along above the equipment, that is what we refer to as our hood system. That's what evacuates all the smoke and grease from the kitchen. There's filters in here, these lines. A hood system is right around $1,000 a foot to build. So if you have a 20-foot hood system in your kitchen, that's going to be a $20,000 investment. They're very, very expensive. You'll see some vents up here in the front of the hood system. Facility design is very, very important. I don't know if anybody's ever been to a restaurant before and they see the kitchen doors opening kind of funny, or the front door kind of opens and closes on its own. And that means that their makeup air system is out of balance. So what happens is those hood systems will draw a lot of air out of the kitchen. That air then gets drawn from the dining room, and that opens up all the doors. You're supposed to have a makeup air system in the kitchen, and this system right here is what puts the air back in. This is a deep fryer. They have a grill. Looks like they have a 6-burner right here. This is a speed rack. And then they have some convection and conventional ovens. Everybody needs to make sure they understand the difference between those two types of ovens. A convection oven is an oven that has a form of circulating heat, whereas a conventional oven is an oven that heats from the bottom traditionally, so it does not have the same heat source, and they both cook differently. So make sure you understand the difference between those two ovens. This is a nice kitchen right over here. This area right up here in the front, right above the plates, is what we call the expo area. As the food is prepared by the cooks on this hot line, which is directly behind the plates, that's where they prepare all the food. The food will get put up into this area, which is then called the window, that has heat lamps in it. And then there is an expediter that will work right here. He will clean up the plates and then appropriately tray them to send them out into the dining room with the service staff. The expo station is where food is organized and sent to the dining room. So we're going to be working with the expo station quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. Most restaurants have them. They are kind of like the traffic control in the kitchen, or air traffic controller, so to speak. The cooks put the food up, and then somebody has to organize that food onto trays for the servers to take out to the dining room. And that's what the expediter does. Traditionally, that's located in the front of the kitchen with easy access to the dining room. The pantry garde-manger area that we are requesting, that one of your 5 menu items comes from, that is the area of the kitchen where cold items are traditionally prepared. That can be sandwiches, salads, appetizers, or desserts. And then this is a nice prep area down here. You'll notice the luminaries in this kitchen are fantastic. It's bright, you can see everything in there, and that really helps you with the food production. Very, very important. Up here in this corner, you'll notice that there's a lot of equipment that is hanging from the wall. And the reason for that is, Chef Suzanne and I like to talk about this, is because we utilize every square inch. Isn't that correct, Chef Suzanne?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Every square inch in the restaurant, you pay rent on it, right? You pay utilities on it. So we utilize every square inch in restaurants. You will see the strangest things hidden in the strangest spots in restaurants. And that is the reason why. Dish area, you're going to be working with quite a bit. This is a typical dish area here. It's got triple sinks in it. When in or during this course, you're going to have to design some dish areas. Make sure your dish areas have triple sinks. Triple sinks are where we wash, rinse, and sanitize in the kitchen. We do not do food prep in triple sinks. That is a major no-no. So it looks like Roy down there smiling. Yeah, you don't do that, do you, Roy? No? You get yourself into some hot water with the local health department. And I've seen a number of people try to thaw things out in those triple sinks, and it's not a good thing. You know, it can be kind of messy. Dish machines, a lot of you will be putting those into your design over the next couple of weeks. This is called a conveyor machine. At one resort I ran, we used to have one of these, and we ran it 24 hours a day. We were so busy. You put a rack in one end, and it automatically pops out the other end, nice and dry. This is referred to as a corner unit, CMA corner unit, which lifts up. You slide the rack in. It takes about 90 seconds to do a load of dishes. It comes in and out fast. This smaller unit here is about a $10,000 washing machine, just to give you an idea of what that equipment cost. Walk-in refrigerators, this is a general look at them. And then storage areas right here are something that we work with quite a bit. Over the next couple of weeks, we're also going to be working on hotlines. Hotlines are going to be required to have a hood system, which evacuates the smoke and the grease. And then it's also required to have halon systems, which are these tubes that are popping down right here. In the event of a fire in your kitchen, which happens more often than not, there are clips that are up here in the hood system. Those clips, when they get hot, will melt at prescribed temperatures. And when they melt, these tubes will dispense a chemical that immediately removes all of the oxygen from the environment, which then extinguishes the fire. For those of you that have not been in a kitchen fire, I avoid doing it. It's not fun, and I've been in multiple kitchen fires, and I've also been dumped on by an Ansel system. And so you need to be very, very cautious of doing that. We opened up a very nice resort, and they put the wrong clips inside the hood system, and it was an exposition kitchen, and we had about 300 people in the dining room, and boom, right in the middle of service, it dumped, and all you could see was white. It was a winter wonderland. So
I've been dumped on by Ansel system too, Chef.
Not a good day, is it?
And the rest of the day, you have to shut down, then clean up for the rest of the day.
Yep, and you're lucky if you could do it in a day. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And then moving on, a couple of other pieces of equipment. We're trying to get these things input into your mind because you're going to be using them quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. Deck ovens, these are really popular for bakeries, pizzerias, that type of thing. These are convection ovens that are double stacked. So you have two ovens stacked on top of each other. The convection oven, once again, has the fan that goes in the back. A salamander or a cheese melter, deep fryer, walk-in coolers, stoves with a flat top, and then a stand mixer. And then these are the different types of sinks that you'll be working with. Triple sinks, prep sinks, which are generally 2 sinks that you can wash lettuces or thaw meats out. Hand sinks are required. We're going to be talking a lot about hand sinks. And then broilers and griddles. We're going to fast forward here in our presentation as we are running a little bit low on time for this. Does anybody have any questions before we jump into the next thing? Anyone? All right, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to talk about your week 1 assignment here. And I have an example that I'm going to pull up here in just a moment. You will utilize your menu that you're going to make, and then you're also going to utilize your concept that you're going to work with as well. Chef Suzanne, feel free to jump in at any point in time with this one especially. So up here, I think Paul, was it, that was asking about where to put the link to the Google Sheet. That will go right up here in this section of your spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is in the facility layout tool, which is the first one. You're going to download that, make a copy. It'll ask you if you want to make a copy, and then you will put the link to your menu right in here. Chef Suzanne will then follow your link to make sure that it coincides with your concept. When you go to submit your assignment, you will type in there a brief 1 to 2 sentence summary of your concept that you can repeat each week. You have to remember, Chef Suzanne is working with a lot of different concepts, and so it's very difficult to remember specific nuances of each concept. And it's very difficult to guide and direct you without that information. So you have your 5 menu items that you've put on here. For example, this person did chicken noodle soup, lasagna, chicken breast, soup, and a salad. So you will put the name of the menu item in each one of the boxes. And then components, and those are basically the ingredients that go into the dish, right? So for chicken noodle soup, they've listed out all the ingredients. And then the station, we just talked about some of the stations in the kitchen. Potager, that would be considered kind of a prep area in the kitchen. Saute station, where they saute some of these ingredients and bring them together. And then the equipment that's going to be required to prepare each dish. Gabriel was asking a few moments ago about how you decide what equipment you need. This list will help you understand that a little bit better. Chef Suzanne, do you have anything to add to this?
Let's see, when it comes to your menu items, that was pretty straightforward. With components, it basically needs to be everything listed out. So don't just put toppings or garnish. Actually list them. Probably, I think my favorite example of that is, so let's say you have a burger on your menu, and your burger is going to come from your grill station. But one of the things you can get on that burger is a fried egg, which would come from a saute station. So making sure to list everything individually, all of those individual components, because it can make a difference on what station prepares those items and what equipment is needed to prepare it, because the station that's making the burger and the station that's making the egg are different. And the same thing with the equipment. So you want to be very specific on your components.
Yes, please. And then also be specific about the area of the kitchen. Don't use terms such as south end, east end, or west end. We need to know specifically what station it's going to come off of. And then also do your best to list out the equipment. We understand that we're new in this process. You're new in this process. And so some of the equipment might not come across properly. Do your best. You can Google it. You can take a look at it. And then you can also refer back to this presentation that we've been talking about, which will be on your class page here in just a few moments. Does anybody have any questions? Alexandria, what's up?
Is there like a type of list or something visual to show the different types of equipment?
Yes, and that is this presentation that we've been talking about here, and it's going to be on your class page here in just a few moments. You'll be able to click on that. It'll say week 1 presentation. You can click on it. It'll bring up all the slides that we've just gone through that has all the different stations and pieces of equipment as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. LaDon.
My question is, do we only have to have 5 menu items, or could it be more?
Keep it at 5. The reason is it could be more, but you really want to keep it simple, because as we progress in the course, it's going to become more complicated, and you're going to be burdening yourself with a lot.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good. Does anybody else have any questions? Chef Suzanne, what did I forget to talk about?
I think we talked about it, but when you're looking at your equipment, you want to make sure you're looking at the hot equipment, so the stove, the flat top, the grill, refrigeration. So are you going to have, what kind of refrigeration? Are you going to need a freezer, a refrigerator, any prep equipment? So if you're going to have a mixer, then if you're going to have steam wells or heat lamps for hot or cold holding. What you don't need when you do the equipment is you don't need tongs and spatulas and bowls and smallwares. You don't need those. You only need to list equipment that's going to take up big amounts of table space or floor space when you're listing your equipment. So don't want to see spatulas and tongs and spoons and ladles and pots and pans. Looking for big stuff, the equipment, not smallwares.
Absolutely. Good point. Excellent point. Kelly, what's your question, Kelly?
Hi, I was a little confused about on the page on the top, but there was like a link. That's where we put the link to the menu.
That would be this page. You're going to put your Google Doc link right there.
Yep. That's where the link to the menu that we have. Okay. Right. And then we submit this through like the regular submission process after we do the link up there?
That is correct.
Okay, thanks.
That is correct.
So basically your menu link goes into the facility layout tool, and then the link that you submit for the assignment will be the link to the facility layout tool. And when it comes to your, for everyone who's wondering about this, for the concept summary, you can just put that right in your submission page. There really isn't anywhere special. You can create another document and put that into, but there really isn't anywhere special. I just have to be able to find your concept summary, the 1 to 2 sentences. I have to be able to locate them. So you can put it in right above your link for your facility layout tool. You just put my concept is, and then your concept, and then right underneath it, your link to the assignment.
Yep, very good. Does that answer your question, Kelly?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Gabriel, what's going on?
Hey, in that kitchen, when we design our kitchen, is this supposed to be our dream kitchen, or you know what I mean? Like, what is there a budget or just laid out? Because I'll low boy the whole kitchen, low boy everywhere.
What we're looking for is a realistic picture that can feasibly be done. You know, and you're going to learn over the next couple of weeks why you should and why you shouldn't. So, you know, don't shortchange yourself in the process, but keep it realistic at the same time. Does that answer your question, Gabriel?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Essentially, you're looking to create the kitchen for these menu items, which is why you got to do the menu items first, and then you'll create that. And you probably will absolutely need low boys and that sort of thing. And that's actually some of the stuff that I would look for is refrigeration, but that's coming in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Alyssa, what's going on?
Well, I noticed at the slide that you showed at the top right corner, it said that make sure the link is anyone with a link can view and make changes or comment. I've talked to technical support so many different times and they can't figure out why, but every time I go to submit mine, it won't let me do that. It'll let me say that change it to anyone with a link can comment, view, or edit. And that's it. I don't get any other options.
Let's
talk about that. I don't know enough about that to help. So,
will you get a hold of me afterwards, and we'll see what we can do to help you?
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Alyssa. Tamara Liz, what's going on?
I already submitted my assignment, but I forgot to write in the concept. Can I go back and write it in and resubmit it?
Yes, you absolutely can do that. Go right ahead.
Okay. That's all I have left to do. Okay.
Awesome. And I guarantee if you forget, Chef Suzanne will be the first one to remind you.
Actually, I will, because I'm glad you brought that up. That is 10% of your grade. Everybody pay attention. That concept summary, that 1 to 2 sentences that you're going to create, that's really not super hard. You know, you just got to get it in there. That is 10% of your grade every single week for this course. So every time you forget to just cut and paste it in, I have to take off 10% off your assignment. So please remember to have that.
You got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got everybody's questions answered. Don't forget, if you do have questions, to certainly reach out, let us know. And as well, this presentation will be on your class page, so you can refer back to the presentation with any questions that you have. And I hope everybody has a fantastic week. Don't forget discussion forum by Saturday, and then submit your assignments no later than Sunday of this week. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.